If you're looking for items that are trending right now to sell in your clothing resale business, then this video is for you. I'm gonna be going through 10 different aesthetic keywords, style-based keywords that are hot right now. And you're gonna walk away with 82 different items to be sourcing and selling in your business for big profits.
Hey there, my name is Lee Meyer. I'm the founder of Listing of Freedom and the empoweredreseller.com, and I'm on a mission to help 1,000 resellers make $100,000 in the next 12 months.
If you're new here, then welcome to the channel. My name is Lee Meyer. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4 in Washington State, and I've made over $100,000 flipping used clothes and other items on sites like eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. And now I'm on a mission to help at least 1,000 resellers be able to hit that $100,000 mark for themselves. And to help you out, I've got a few free gifts that you'll find down here in the description below this video, including my best brands list. This is the list of brands that have gotten me to that $100,000 mark and beyond. You'll also find a link down here to sign up for my free $100,000 reseller challenge. In this free challenge, I show you exactly how to hit $100,000 for yourself this year. You're gonna discover the very best things to be selling right now. It's not what you think it is. And I'm gonna show you how to hit that 6-figure mark this year in very minimal time, part-time hours. All right, so all of the things that I'm gonna be showing you today are based on the look of the item, the aesthetic, the style of the item, what that item looks like. And these types of words, keywords are really important to be able to put in your listings, not only for items that are mainstream brands that sell really well, but they also help other items that are maybe not so well-known brands or even off brands. They help those items sell for substantially more money in a lot of cases. So this video is really going to help with your current listings to maybe go back and infuse some of those keywords into those to get those listings seen and sold. But it's also going to create more sourcing opportunities because you don't have to rely on just brands. And that can be a very common mistake, especially for new resellers. I remember looking at the thrift stores around me in my area and thinking, there's nothing good. And 7 years ago, when I first started reselling, I needed this to work. I needed a way to be able to make money from home around my family's schedule. And so I had to get creative and I had to look at other types of items that are selling. So this is going to be helpful even if you have good brands to source, but it's also going to be helpful if you live in more rural areas or you don't have access to a big town with a lot of luxury brands. I fully believe that you can be successful right where you are, no matter where you live. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this first aesthetic that we're gonna be taking a look at is grunge. Now, how I've got this set up is we're gonna talk about the aesthetic overall, the look. And so grunge is the first one, but then I'm gonna show you items inside of that look, specific types of items. And I've got a really good mix here of mainstream brands, some really good brands, as well as off brands or brands that I would typically tend to stay away from, except they're selling well because of that style. So again, the first aesthetic that we're going through is grunge. And the first item that I've got here for you is plaid, or the first item type, I should say, is plaid. These can be really good items to pick up, especially if they're more kind of a earthy color. This one is Quicksilver, and that one's sold for $30. And I am going to be showing you items across a few different platforms, not just all one platform. Next are band tees, and band tees are doing really well, whether it's a mainstream brand like Nirvana, a bigger name brand, or even if it's a smaller brand. And so this is one from Smashing Pumpkins. There's nothing, particularly special about this t-shirt, but because of that grunge keyword that's trending, this one sold for $80. Again, Smashing Pumpkin, and that's on Mercari. Over on Poshmark, the next item type within that grunge aesthetic that we're looking at is destroyed denim. So I've got a pair of Carhartt here, and a lot of resellers would just toss this aside because it looks like garbage. There's, I'm going to see if I can go through some of the pictures here with you, but there's stains, there's holes, all over staining, up and down on both legs as well as on the back of the pants. There in the seat, you see there's a hole. There's a wear here on that hammer strap. That one sold for $84. They are using another really good keyword besides just destroyed, and that is thrashed. That is a high profit keyword that I would recommend using for those types of items. Next type of item under that grunge aesthetic is combat boots. And so this is an example of a pair here. This one happens to be from Dr. Martens, but don't overlook other brands that have that same look, even if it's more of an off-brand or lower quality brand. Next are hoodies. Now this is one that is what I would call a no-name brand. It's behind here. This is on Mercari. They do this. It's a little annoying, but it says Citizen Earth. That is the tag. So it's not anything special. They did use a keyword in here, affliction style, which could be considered keyword stuffing depending on, or spamming depending on what platform it is that you're selling on. So be careful when you do use that one. But they did use some other really good keywords in here like grunge and Y2K and skater. And that one sold for $70 for essentially a no-name brand. Next are anything with rips. And again, this is under that grunge aesthetic. This is a top here. This is actually a vintage bugle boy, but you can see how that's torn across the bottom there. There's, also basically the whole front of that shirt is one big rip. That one sold for $40 on Poshmark. And then stains. So this is another type of item in that grunge that people seem to be looking for. This is another Carhartt. Whether it's Carhartt or other similar items, it does not necessarily have to be Carhartt. I know I've showed two of those, but with this one, that bleach is good. And there's a really good description written here, very distressed, bleach stains, holes all over, black stains here and there, refer to picture. They said somebody put a lot of work in making it look like this. All you have to do is wear it and enjoy the rewards. That's what it says in the description. So I love that, but it's completely, there's holes. Like look at those holes. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit better, like mega amount of holes, obvious large bleach stains, black stains all over like the listing said, and that one sold for $50. Next are faded sweatshirts, or just fading in general. And I have noticed that a lot of items that are marked with the word sun faded are selling. This one just says faded. They're also again using those keywords of thrashed and distressed. This sweatshirt looks like it should be thrown in the garbage. Is it just me? There's the neck. It's like falling apart there at the shoulder. The sleeves look like they're about to fall off, like almost falling off. There's a hole there in the armpit. I'm going to see if I can get a few more close-up pictures of just how bad this is. The whole hem looks like it's falling off. And that one sold for $67. It says, show off your love for the Pittsburgh Steelers with this vintage 90s starter sweatshirt with distressed and faded designs. So a really good example of an item that might otherwise be thrown in the garbage. The next aesthetic is cottagecore. And there's several different types of items that you're going to want to be looking for with this aesthetic. The first type of item are puff sleeves, or I should say the first feature is puff sleeves. And this can go for tops as well as dresses like the one you're looking at here. This is actually a vintage Laura Ashley. And so these can sell for quite a bit if you do come across this. This one sold for $279. And then here's another example of one that sold here. This is just kind of a basic one. It's actually from Old Navy. That one sold for almost $30 plus shipping for that one. Next is floral embroidery. And again, this is under that cottagecore keyword. This is a really popular feature for these types of items that we're talking about with cottagecore. This is a button-up shirt here. This one sold for $55 plus shipping. I'm also noticing some really nice details there on those sleeves. And then another example of this embroidery is on this jacket. That one sold for $80. It does also happen to have another good keyword that is being used here with Friends from the TV show. So $80 plus shipping for that one on Mercari. Next are tiered items, whether they're dresses, skirts, or tops. This is a really good good keyword and type of item to be looking for when you're sourcing. So this is, the tag is right there. I'm not really sure what that is. It is made in Texas. It is denim, which is another good thing to be looking for. This one sold for $58 on Poshmark. Got another tiered dress here, and it also has that floral pattern, which is really popular when it comes to this aesthetic. This one's actually an Old Navy dress. That one sold for $35. Next is crocheted items. This is more of a fine crochet, small holes there. You do see some embroidery there, the floral embroidery that we just talked about. And that one sold for $50. They're using some other really good keywords here, such as whimsy goth. Something that's really helpful when you're listing is the keyword poster. I'm going to leave a product card over here if you want to go and check that out, but that can help speed up the listing and help you be able to get more money for your items. A couple more examples of crocheted items. We've got a cardigan here. This one sold for $35, and that's a Susan Bristol brand. Here's a skirt. So you might not typically think of crochet of being in a skirt. You might typically think of it being just cardigans or sweaters or tops. That one sold for $28, and that's just a handmade skirt. Got an one from Express. That's what the tag looks like there. That does look like an older tag. And then this item, really kind of a unique item. That one sold for $66. And then next, similarly related to crochet, is this specific pattern of granny squares. And this trend with those granny squares is really popular right now. This is kind of a no-name brand. At least I have not heard of that one before. It says O&O. That one sold for $40. Again, because those granny squares are trending. So keep your eye out for granny squares. Next type of item within the cottagecore aesthetic are peasant tops. And so the peasant top has a very distinct look to it, usually with a square neckline. This is actually a very good brand, high quality, higher end brand, Doen. I'm not sure if I'm saying that one right, but that one sold for $125. But don't overlook other brands. This is Victoria's Secret, which is, more of a mainstream brand, definitely an older Victoria's Secret item, a nightgown, and this one sold for $125. That has that same type of peasant neckline. And this is another one, probably not a true peasant neck of what I would call a peasant neck, but this has a similar look with the sleeves and the pattern and just kind of the overall look of the item. That one sold for $27, and that is from Old Navy. It is a 2X, so that definitely does help as well. The next item under that cottagecore aesthetic is button dresses or button skirts. So you can see how that buttons all the way up that dress. Any items that you find like that, whether it's a skirt or a dress, those items are trending. And so this one sold for $30. It is actually a no boundaries, i.e. from Walmart. And it sold for that just because of the look. Next type of item within cottagecore is gingham print. So this is that check kind of print. This is an older item, actually from the 60s. And it is from Montgomery Ward, the department store. That one sold for $50 on Poshmark. Got another vintage gingham. It does not necessarily have to be vintage. Current brands are doing this as well. And this one is sold for $65 on Poshmark, and it's from Sears. So there's the tag there. You can see it says Sears Fashions. So don't overlook those types of department store brands that you might not otherwise think they're, maybe worth your money investing in. Next is patchwork. So this is an example of patchwork here, a pair of overalls that sold. This is made by the seller, or upcycled by the seller. And that one sold for $60, but look for that trend in other items as well. This is an example here of a dress. That one sold for $225. That's what the tag looks like there. Fool, I'm assuming is how you say that. $225 over on Mercari. And another patchwork item here. That one sold for $56. Definitely a unique look. And then a specific type of patchwork has more of that quilted look. So use that in your keywords, whether it's in the title or in the description. This one sold for $84 for this patchwork quilted style jacket. This is actually Alfred Dunner. I'm going to see if I can zoom in on that tag a little bit better, but it's normally a brand you would probably just pass by and not, it keeps jumping on me. You probably would pass by that and not even think about getting that Alfred Dunner tag. So you can see that there. Most of the time that's one to skip, but that one sold for $84. Got another quilted jacket here. This is actually from Orvis. That's a really, solid brand, especially when it comes to their vintage items. If you're looking for more vintage items, by the way, then you're going to want to check out my vintage clothing guide. I'm going to leave a product card over here for you. But this quilted jacket sold for $50.80. All right, number 3 aesthetic is academia. Now, there are keywords for dark academia as well as light academia that just refers to the overall coloring of that. If it's navy blue, dark brown, black, that's going to be dark. Those lighter colors, light academia. And then the first type of item that you're going to be looking for with this aesthetic is tweed. And you're gonna see that in multiple items types, whether it's blazers or skirts like the one that you're looking at. This is actually loft, and it is a size 0 petite, so a very small size that normally does not sell well. That brand for me has never been a big seller, but that one did sell for $34, even given that small size. Got another tweed item here, but this one also overlaps with blazers, and this is a big look for the academia aesthetic. And this blazer is just, black and white, and it's got, let me see if I can find a tag there for you, Nanette Lepore. So not a huge, luxury name brand. That one sold for $40. They're also using some other really good keywords in here, such as old money. So $40 plus shipping for that one on eBay. Over on Poshmark, the next type of item within academia are turtlenecks or mock necks like this one. And this is one from Express. This one, and there's that Express tricot tag again. That one sold for $55. Got a Jones of New York here. And again, I'm trying to mix in some, maybe brands that you normally might stay away from. For me, Jones of New York is one of those, but this one sold for $60 because of that look. And then corduroy. So you're going to see this again popping up in a variety of different types of items. This is a blazer here, and a size 0 again. So that's good to see, some small sizes selling, because a lot of times small sizes don't sell. It is, a women's, that's not a men's. It does kind of look like a men's from the picture, but that one sold for $79 for that on Poshmark. Next type of item are sweater vests. And this one is from London Fog. Again, one of those brands that it really just depends on the style of the item. There's what that tag looks like. And that one sold for $33 on eBay. Next are trench coats within academia. This one sold for $85. It does have that plaid lining to it. There's the tag there for you, Newport Harbor, so not any sort of huge name. $85. Got another trench coat here. This one went for $70 over on Mercari. Next are plaids, and in particular, houndstooth. So this is more of a small houndstooth. See if I can zoom in on that there so that you can see the houndstooth right there. And this pair of pants, this one, let me see if I can get a tag on this one. There's a tag right there, Catalina Sportswear. That one sold for $29 plus shipping. Got another blazer here. This is from The Limited, and that one sold for $35. And then this set here, that one sold for $60. Next type of item
item within academia are pleated skirts, and these can be long as well as short, like this one that you're looking at here. This is from Abercrombie, and it is a size 00. I want to point that out. That one sold for $100. It's also corduroy, so a lot of these different features, they're going to overlap. Here's another pleated skirt. This one is from Hollister, and this one sold, there's the tag there. That one sold for $165 on Mercari, and then one from Abercrombie. And these Abercrombie ones can sell for, close to $200, even $250 for these. That one went for $190 on Mercari. Next are cable knit sweaters. Got this one here. This is a Polo Ralph Lauren. It does have that deep V-neck. This one ended up going on best offer for $120. I'm going to link up here to a video of how you can be able to find how much items went when a best offer was accepted. And then the next type of item within academia are Argyle print, or is Argyle print. This one is from Torrid, and this aesthetic, it's really all about layering and all about those different textures, like the tweed we've talked about, corduroy. And with these sweater vests, this is something that can be layered with a collared shirt underneath. That's why these are popular. That sweater went for $32.99. Got another sweater vest here with that Argyle. This is from Liz Claiborne. That's another brand that you might typically stay away from. Let me see if I can get that tag to load there. So just Liz Claiborne Sport. Nothing special about that. That one went for $30 plus shipping. Got another one here from a brand that you might normally stay away from, Apartment 9. It is cashmere, so that does help that out as well. It's also got that turtleneck as well as that Argyle print. That one went for $35. Next is the Barbie core aesthetic, or just Barbie. And this one is really about Barbie's style, and especially those pink colors, especially hot pink, but there are some pastel pink items that are selling as well. This first item, this dress here with those polka dots, this is a brand that I don't recognize. Let me see if I can get down to the tag, City Triangle there. That one went for $32 because of that keyword. And then Worthington. So that is a brand that typically you probably stay away from. This blazer here, the color on these are not the best, but that one went for almost $30 plus shipping. And got another blazer here. This is from Land's End. Again, the color on this, it's very hard to take a picture of. So a lot of sellers do struggle with that. Make sure you check out the light kit that I use. That'll help you. This one went for $40. And then there's one of the light pink. This one, again, they use that Barbie core. It also has hearts in it, which is typical of Barbie items. That sweater went for $30. And then next to look for with the Barbie core aesthetic is a peplum hem. This is a dress that has that peplum there around the waist. It's a little bit hard to see here. You can see it on the model there a little bit better. And that one sold for $30 from Zara on Mercari. And here is a blazer. This is from Torrid. You can kind of make out the peplum hem there at the bottom, that pleating at the bottom. That one went for $30 from Torrid. And then a peplum dress over on eBay, and it does have sequins. That's another good thing to look for with the Barbie core aesthetic. There's the tag there, definitely a vintage tag. That one went for $85 on eBay. The next thing to look for are platform shoes. Now these are just Crocs, and nothing special. They just happen to be that nice pink color. Those went for $42. And then look for heels or stilettos. So these are a block heel. Again, the color on this is not good. It looks more red. It does say Barbie pink. And that pair went for $56. Next item to look for with Barbie core are skirts. And there's a lot of different types of skirts selling, but again, it's really about the color. This is a skirt from Athleta, which these normally, don't sell for over $50, not usually. And so this one did sell for $56. They are using tennis skirt. So that is another good keyword. Tennis prep or tennis core can be another really good keyword to use for this item. Here's another skirt. This is more of a longer pleated skirt. Again, the color on this is very difficult to get pictures with, but that one went for $32. Next is another skirt, but this one does have that peplum hem, but I am showing this here because I wanted to point out that glitter is another item to be looking for. Now with this skirt, because it had that glitter as well as that peplum hem, that one went for $56. I do want to point out the brand here is a brand that's called Mustard Seed. This is not particularly a good brand. I'm scrolling through some just random mustard seed items that sold over here on Poshmark, and you're seeing there's items that sold for, $15. We got a dress here that's new with tags. That one went for $9. Sweater new with tags for $8. Another sweater new with tags for $9. Pair of shorts there new with tags, $10. This is not a high dollar brand, but because of that style, that one went for $56. The next type of item to look for with Barbiecore aesthetic or Barbie aesthetic is leather or pleather items. These are a pair of pink pleather jeans. These are from the brand Judy Blue, which is a fairly solid brand when it comes to jeans. And this pair went for $40, which is a little above typical for most of their pants and jeans. This is a leather jacket. This one's actually, I believe, from Wilson Leather, and there are a few flaws here. You're seeing Wilson Leather Maxima. That's what it says there on the tag. That one went for $35. Another leather suede, actually, fringe. This is a vintage one made in the USA, definitely for that style, but they also did use Barbie in the keyword. That one sold for $225. And again, the color on that is not the best. All right, the next aesthetic that we're looking at is Y2K, and this one is huge right now. This covers a huge, broad spectrum of different types of styles. I do have a video where I go in depth, super in depth. It's really long, but really good. I will link to up here that'll cover multiple styles that we're not going to have time to cover in this video, but I'm going to go through some of the top ones here. So the first item to be looking for is chunky platform shoes. This is a pair of Lower East Side. That's from the store Payless Shoe Source, I think it was called, or Payless Shoe Store, one of the two. They were not that expensive in the store. Those are selling for $50 to $100 in some cases. Here's another similar pair, more of a little bit of a wedge platform there, a block heel, not a true wedge, but it's got that heel to it. That one went for $85 from the brand LEI on the Poshmark platform. And then over on Mercari, the next type of item for Y2K aesthetic to look for are dragons. Dragons can show up on jeans, shirts, hoodies like this one here. This is a random brand. It's not anything in particular. I can't quite read it through there. I can't remember if it had it in the description or not. Silver Point. Oh, right here in the title, Silver Point. So you can see the dragons there. It's also kind of a tribal design down the sleeve. That one sold for $48 plus shipping. So keep your eye out for any of those kind of tribal or dragon. Here's another one over here on Mercari as well. That one went for almost $48 for that hoodie. And then wide leg jeans. I normally talk about Jinko jeans a lot, but there's really a lot more brands than just Jinko that are selling for big money right now. And this really goes back to just the style. Embroidery is really common with these really huge pockets. This is from a brand called Machine, and that pair went for $80 on eBay. And then the next type of item to look for Y2K aesthetic, it has to do with bags. These messenger bags were really popular from that era. And this is just kind of a basic bag. It's actually Old Navy. That one went for $30. And then these kind of hobo style slouchy bags. This one happens to be Juicy Couture, but if you find other brands that have this kind of look to them, a lot of them have kind of a gaudy look. It's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly the style with these, but they just kind of have a certain look to them. That one went for $209. And if you're like me and you have a hard time like remembering the style of the bags when you go to type up a listing, I do have a poster that is brand new that covers everything related to bags as far as hardware, the shape of the bag, the handle type. I cover everything on this poster, so it's all at your fingertips when you go to list. The next item from Y2K that is huge right now are pleated skirts. This is a really loose pleat. I just spit all over my computer. Really loose pleat here. This one went for $300 from Abercrombie, but these box pleats are probably the more common pleat from this era. This is a random brand, and that one sold for $50. If you find them from Y2K or from Abercrombie or Hollister, those are selling for into the hundreds as well, just like that last Abercrombie I just showed. The next item within Y2K, that style to be looking for, are crop tops. This is Victoria's Secret, normally doesn't sell for a whole lot. This one does happen to be new with tags. It does have some bling, which is another feature from Y2K, but that one went for $45. And then these fold over yoga pants. These also happen to be from Victoria's Secret. I did not mean to show two in a row. There's plenty of other crop tops out there from other brands. But these fold over yoga, specifically Victoria's Secret, these are just now trending. So my expectation would be other brands that have made similar styles, that those would start trending as well. But as of right now, when I'm recording this video, it's pretty much just Victoria's Secret that's really trending into the hundreds of dollars, like $130 to $180 for these yoga pants with the fold over top. And it seems that specifically the animal print is selling. So you can kind of see that blue animal print, that one for $135. Next are what I would call clubwear, or you might use the keyword rave. And this does fall within that Y2K look. This is just one example. There's many different types or different looks to these, but they're kind of a look of going out to the club. That one went for $65. And this one is from a random brand, Poly Trading, I think is what the name of that brand is. And then next are beaded tanks. This is very similar, but these tanks will have beads as well as sequins, and these are selling for right around that $100 to $150 mark. This one does actually happen to be new with the tags, and it does happen to be from a Y2K brand. You can kind of make out the tag there called Rave. If you're looking for more, it was actually a mall brand, and you can see the tag there was $20 like in the store, but that's now selling for $150. If you're looking for more brands like that are mall type of brands from Y2K, I do have another video that you will want to check out up here. All right, and then the next type of item within Y2K are bell sleeves. And you're gonna see this trend popping up in other aesthetics that we're gonna be looking at in this video as well. This is just a quick one here. This is a random brand, TNT, it says right here, and that one went for 32 plus shipping. And then the next item type is low-rise jeans or flare leg jeans. Both of those together maybe might be a better way to put that. These actually do have a lace up at the waist. See if I can get a little bit better picture of that. They got a ruler over the top of that, but they are low rise, and those low rise jeans that did not move for years, did not sell, are suddenly starting to sell again. This one went for $40, and this is from the brand Jordache. So again, not any sort of huge luxury brand, just kind of an everyday brand. That one went for $40. Another big item to look for with that Y2K aesthetic is with baby doll tops. This is Hollister. Again, nothing special. Like, this is another mall brand. That one went for $130, and it's not uncommon to get 50 to 100 to even a little bit more like this one for the baby doll tops, where they're fitted through the bust and then they kind of flare out from there. I want to quickly mention that I do have a keywords that sell poster. This covers all of the aesthetic based keywords. So when you're getting your listings up and you're trying to remember what was that aesthetic, it's right here in front of you. I even have this in a handy print at home version size, and everything that we've covered in the video is on this poster visually for quick reference. All right, the next aesthetic that we'll be covering is what is called mob wife. Now, I did pull this up just in a search engine so you can kind of get a general look of this. Look, if you have not heard about this one yet, but some of the things that are really big when it comes to this aesthetic are fur as well as fur trim. So this is happens to be an all over fur jacket. This is actually a brand to me. This looks like it's straight from China. That would be my first instinct. Okay, this is a Chinese brand. I'm sure that it is. That size tag there is very typical of items that are coming from China. But that one sold for $57 almost, because of the look and because of that keyword mob wife. The next thing to look for are vests. And for vests in particular, this is a Chico's. This is a brand that I don't particularly, I'm not particularly in love with. Most of the items don't sell for that much. This one happened to sell for $40 because it does fall under that look, and the seller did use the keyword there, mob wife, there in the title. The next thing to look for with mob wife is animal print, and animal print shows up in multiple of these types of items. So it might be animal print fur, like this jacket that you're seeing here. It might be an animal print vest or animal print of some other things that we're going to talk about coming up. But this one sold for $65 over on Mercari. And then trench coats. So with the trench coat, this does happen to be, another one of those animal prints. This one went for $134. I'm going to see if I can get the tag opened up here for you to be able to get a little bit closer look at that. That's the tag. So it's nothing special. It's not any huge name brand, not a luxury brand. That one went for $134. And then another animal print pair of shoes here, little pumps, and those went for $38 on eBay. Pair of boots. So that would be the next item type to look for with this trend are boots, animal print being one of those things to look for. So this pair of boots here, this is from Steve Madden, which is, an okay brand, but they usually don't sell for that much. That one did go for $40 plus shipping. And then over on Poshmark, another pair of boots here, and the black color goes really well with this look. And that can be, this covers really a lot, any sort of black boot that you're selling, whether it's more of a booty or a tall boot like this one. And this one sold for $55. And this happens to be the brand here. I don't think that it's anything special, at least not a brand that I recognize, and it's not listed here. So I don't think it's even a brand that's available to list under on Poshmark, but those did sell for $55. The next aesthetic that's trending is the keyword romantic. And this covers kind of a broad type of items, a broad look that's soft, very feminine. And another word that you can also use that's trending is coquette. And with this look, a lot of pinks make up this look, really light pinks, soft pinks, blush pinks. And there's this Jessica Simpson jacket, which is not a particular brand that I usually recommend. There's the tag there for you, but because of that look, they did use that in their keywords. That one went for $44. And then the other feature to look for with this aesthetic is lace. And this little set, it's a skirt, lace skirt. You can see the lace overlay there, as well as a lace top. This is from the brand Nanette Lepore. That one went for $70. And then ruffles are big with this aesthetic as well. This happens to be a Ralph Lauren, where it has the ruffle front, but ruffles can also appear, on sleeves, hems, shoulders, wherever else that is very common with the romantic look. This one did sell in a different currency, not in US currency. So I'm not exactly sure what the conversion is over to US currency, but it did sell for a decent amount because it did have that particular look. Another item or feature to be looking for is silk or satin. And this little silk, it's a Marc Jacobs top. It does have some buttons, so it has some just really delicate details. And then that one sold for $50. There's the tag there, that one. And it is a size 2, so it is super small. That one did sell for $50 on Poshmark. And then another feature to look for is the scoop neck. And this, you can see it does have some lace details on there as well. I also want to make a note of this, that this is a really good vintage brand. Jessica, you may have heard of Gunny Sacks. This is essentially the same company, just a different line. It does say Jessica's Gunnies is what that is. And if you're interested in more vintage items, I'm going to leave a product card over here for my vintage guide. It's freshly updated, doubled in size. It's like 150 different items and vintage brands to be on the lookout for that are selling for a lot of money. And Gunny Sacks is one of those, one of my favorite vintage brands. And then the next aesthetic is bows. And this kind of, goes really along with that feminine look of lace and ruffles. This one has pretty much all of those things that we've talked about. And this one sold for $105. It does say that it's a Japanese brand. This is the material tag. So you can kind of see it's not probably a tag that you may come across, but it may not be like, it's a really nice brand, would be kind of the impression that I would gather from that tag. But that one sold for $105 because of the look. All right, the next aesthetic that we're looking at that's trending right now is steampunk. And this is kind of a blend of Victorian as well as Industrial Revolution. And the first item that we're going to be looking at, it has a little bit of a military, is how I would describe that, a military look to it with those buttons and the lines across, as well as that high collar, but it does still have that steampunk look and it can kind of overlap a little bit. So you do notice that they did use both keywords there of military and steampunk. Again, use multiple keywords, infuse them. That's what gets your listings sold. That one sold for $227 from DKNY. A pretty common brand, not a what I would call a high value brand, a decent brand, but most items aren't selling for that much, but because of the keyword. Next are long tail, and you'll see this on jackets, maybe even shirts, where it's longer cut in the back. And so this one, it does have some other details that are popular. We're going to be talking about here in a second with this look, but that one sold for $55. And you'll see that in some mainstream brands as well. And then next is velvet. So velvet is very common with the steampunk look. You're going to see those, that button detailing and that high collar again. And this little velvet jacket, this one went for, let's see, tag there. It is a Lucky brand, which is, okay. It's not super high end, but that one went for $52. And then, lace up details. So I put this one on here. This is from Soft Surroundings, which is a pretty solid bread and butter brand is what I would call it. It usually doesn't sell for tons of money, but this one did sell for $69 because it does have that lace up detail there on the back. These are not very good pictures. Remember to use a lighting kit. It is well worth your money to be able to get a lighting kit and take good pictures. There are lace up details there on the sleeve. I will link down below to the lighting kit that I use. You'll find that in the description. So $69 on Poshmark for that Soft Surroundings. And then corsets. You're going to see corsets in another couple of the aesthetics that we're looking at. So they can fall within multiple of these aesthetics. But this one has a little bit more of that steampunk look to it because it has some of that ribbing, the lace up detail there. That one went for $60 from a Hot Topic brand. And then metal details are really common with the steampunk look. This one happens to be from Harley Davidson. This little halter vest is what I would call that. And with those grommets, you can see those grommets there along the front of that, along both sides of the zipper. That one went for $62. And then this one I threw up here. I wanted to ask you about this. Let me know in the comments down below if you think that this falls within the steampunk aesthetic. I personally don't think that it does, but it was put in here in the title. It is a brand that's, it's not anything special. It's called Studio Y. Pictures, again, are not the best, but you may have seen this brand before. And that one went for $50. That is literally the only keyword that they use. They use some in here, puffy sleeve, but there's not a whole lot of other keywords besides steampunk. So let me know in the comments if you think that's steampunk or not, but it did still sell for $50 using that keyword. Next type of item within steampunk are tall boots. And so this pair of boots, this one went for $50. I do see they put some other keywords in here that are good to use, like cosplay. And I just did a quick comparison for this brand. It's called Do Farina, but I did pull up some other sold items on Poshmark on the same platform where there was sold. So you see there's a pair there for $50, but there's other items like a pair of pumps here that sold for $8, pair of shoes there for $17, $16. Seeing some more of those boots. Another pair of shoes here for $4, $8. So not, a big dollar brand, but because of that look, those boots sold for more. And then ankle boots. So this one, you're going to see that button detailing again, and some of, really kind of a little bit of a ruffle, not too much. I blanked on what word it is. I'm looking for subtle, I think. Subtle ruffle there on these boots. Those ones went for 52 from a brand called Eric Michael. And same kind of story with this. When you look at solds from this brand, they're not selling for a whole lot. So it looks like this pair is new with tags that went for 7. Some here, those are brand new for 40. You're seeing $15. $20, 21 pair for 7. So it really is about the look and the style. And then Crown Vintage. So another little pair of ankle boots here. And these are actually pretty worn. Those ones sold for $85. And same kind of story with this. When you look over into the solds on Poshmark, you're seeing $12, $13, $5, $12. So moral of the story, it definitely pays to use those keywords. All right, the next aesthetic that's really trending right now is whimsy goth. This is an express dress, another mall brand. This one sold over on Mercari for $118. And what you're looking for with this aesthetic, with this dress that we're talking about, is that velvet. So you're going to see that velvet detailing here. And that is really big for the whimsy goth look. If you're wondering what whimsy goth is, it is a subculture, like a group of people that identify together. They maybe dress similarly. And it's kind of a mix of goth and witchcore, but it's not either of those. It's its own subculture. I did have to look this up because I did not know this, but there's lots of different subcultures like this, and they make really good keywords to use, and they end up trending because people will try and, fit in with that look. And so this happens to be one of them. And then another feature from this look is lace. This is a dress here. I'm going to just quickly scroll through some of these pictures, but you can see all of the lace that's used on this dress. And this one sold for $202. This is, I want to point this out because this is really important. Brand and material tags are missing. A lot of resellers will just not even pick up an item if there's no brand tag, if there's no size tag, if there's no material tag. This seller was smart enough to pick this up, still list it, put those measurements, but that sold for $202, even with those missing tags. And then the next, bell sleeves. So we hit on bell sleeves with the Y2K look. And so this is going to be one where you see in multiple aesthetics. Again, put multiple aesthetics. It's not going to hurt if you have 3 to 5 aesthetics listed for an item, as long as it fits within that look. And so this shirt, it's called Speed Control, is the name of the brand there. This is kind of, another one of those no-name brands. It is, it's out there, but it's not, a big ticket item. But that one did sell for $56 because of the look of this, and they did use fairy in the title. And then the other thing to look for with this look is satin or silk. And with this is a beaded dress here. I do want to point out that this dress sold for $800, and this is a brand, Adriana Papel, or their line Papel Boutique is actually what this is labeled as. So I went ahead and pulled up from that same boutique line other solds, and we got a jacket there for $8, dress there for $49, $34, but nothing selling for $800. But because of that look, that dress, and because the seller used the right keywords down here in the description as well as their title, that one went for $800. Like, that's an easy way to 10 to 20x your investment, to 10 to 20x your revenue just by using keywords. To look for with this aesthetic is mesh overlay. You've seen this in a couple of the dresses that I've already showed, but you can get a pretty good picture of that there, how there's mesh over the top. And that one went for $150. That's from BCBG Maxariza. Definitely a brand that you want to use caution with. Everything does not sell for this much, but just because of the styles and the keywords that were used. And then here's another example of a mesh overlay dress. This This one went for $150. This is from a brand called Morgan and Company. And I did go ahead and pull this up within Mercari, which is not the best search engine, but you're seeing, $16, $24, $28, $18. I'm not sure if that's actually one from the same brand, but not big prices like $150, but because of that look, that's why that sold for that much. The next thing to look for with the whimsy goth aesthetic, there's another dress there with that overlay and tulle. The next thing to look for with this aesthetic are skirts. This is an example of a skirt here that has that kind of look. You're noticing as you're seeing these, a lot of them are dark colored. It doesn't necessarily have to be black, but this is more of a darker colored skirt. And this is from Coldwater Creek, so a brand that most items probably are not worth reselling, but this one did go for $32 because of the keywords whimsy goth, and you may also see dark fairy, so that can be a pretty good overlap with the whimsy goth look as well. And then the next thing to look for with this aesthetic are chunky shoes. And you're going to notice that these may, overlap with Y2K as well as, a lot of these looks that we just looked at, like that bell sleeve. This pair of shoes, this is from Zara. Those went for $52. And then we got a pair of Clarks that sold as well. And Clarks don't normally, most of them don't sell for this much. So $59. They are kind of a patent leather, the shiny leather. And so those went for $59 on Poshmark. And then the next thing to look for with this aesthetic is a corset top. And so this is an example here. This one sold for $60. See if I can get a look there, but you can see kind of that corset detail, that milkmaid top, kind of a square neck with the ruffle across the bust. That is big for this look as well. So that one went for $60 on Mercari. The next aesthetic that's trending, and there's lots of trending aesthetics. I just have, I'm only covering a few in this video because we're almost already at the hour mark. But this one is the fairy core aesthetic. And this, you're going to notice, again, a lot of overlaps with whimsy goth, as well as a little bit maybe even of Y2K. The fairy core look has a lighter look to it than, say, the whimsy goth that we just looked at, lighter in color, sometimes a little bit lighter in the materials as well. This one is a jean skirt. It's got that hem there. And so with this aesthetic, I'm seeing a lot of the asymmetrical. So you're going to notice that that hem is a little bit asymmetrical, as well as the kind of ruffle or flaring at the bottom gives it a little bit of a feminine look, and that is very typical of the fairy core. Is it's a little bit more on the feminine side. And this one went for $50 for kind of an off-brand jean skirt with that look. Another example of a jean skirt here that has those tiers. So anything tiered, whether it's a top, a skirt, a dress, that's going to be another look that can fall within that fairy core or fairy aesthetic. And that one went for $60 on Poshmark. And then another one on Poshmark. And I thought this was a really good example of the textures that are really that can make up part of this aesthetic. So you're going to see with this top here that there's texturing of crochet along the top. There's some, I'm thinking they're beads. There's some darting here in the blouse and the top, and that one went for $60, but it really does have kind of a three-dimensional textured look, and that can be really common with this aesthetic. And then florals are also common within the fairy core aesthetic. And this dress here, you can see it's just kind of a light pink. They did point out, again, no material tag, no size tag. Most resellers would pass that by. This person did pick it up, and it sold for $35 because, they used those. And you'll notice that they used whimsy goth as well as fairy core, as well as feminine. They could have used that romantic keyword that we talked about earlier. And then that sold for $35, even without any sort of tags on it. Another example of floral, this is a brand called Robbie B, which is not a particularly, great brand. It's right there. It is 100% silk, so that does help the price a little bit, but it definitely has that feminine look to it. They did use fairy core in there. That one went for $50 on Poshmark. You'll also notice rhinestones with this aesthetic. So this is an example of a dress here. It's got some rhinestone detailing on the front. I'm going to zoom in on that, some beadwork there on the front. And that one sold for $50. On Poshmark, it is a 9 West and it is silk. So that can help a little bit, just be the fact that it is a nicer quality material. And then next feature to look for with this aesthetic is tulle, and that's that kind of mesh material, and you're going to see all of those layers that are within that skirt. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see that a little bit better, but just a lot of layers in there, and that one went for $54. The next feature to look for with the fairy aesthetic is that bell sleeve again. So you're seeing how huge that bell sleeve is right now in a lot of these aesthetics. And there's that sleeve there, and you see how wide that is. And it does have a little bit of that floral print as well, which is common with this aesthetic. That one went for $35. And then again, that corset. So that, again, another one that's showing up within multiple aesthetics. Go ahead and use multiple aesthetics if it fits within those. And so this is an example of one here. And you're seeing that lace up detailing along the top. As well as some lace and floral mixed in there. And that one went for $85 on Mercari. All right, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, go ahead and give it a like, as well as consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video soon.